Hey everyone, I'm Ben Abben. Welcome to DICED. Today we got Anthony Cusenza. He's our guest cook. He's gonna make fresh pasta. Anthony, how's it going, man?
Going great, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. So, are you nervous?
No, I've luckily done this enough time I should be able to bang it out and
Perfect.
yeah, show everybody how it's done.
Right on, so fresh pasta, what do we need?
Just 4 ingredients. You need flour, eggs, salt, and some olive oil, and it comes together really fast in a food processor. We could do the whole mound of flour and the eggs. Maybe that's another episode.
By hand, you mean?
By hand.
Okay.
But this saves a lot of time, and speaking of hand, when you do it by hand, you gotta knead for about over 10 minutes. This you can knead for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Perfect.
And it's good to go.
All right, let's see it.
All right, it's really simple. First thing that goes in is the flour, and that's just 2 cups of all-purpose flour.
All-purpose, excellent.
Teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
First thing I do is I just pulse it a few times to get that salt mixed around before any liquid goes in.
Okay.
Before you do that, it's just as simple as this. 3 eggs going in, and this is just a tablespoon of oil.
Okay. So it's best to use olive oil, right?
Yeah, olive oil is the way to go. That's what you want. Now what this will do is it'll just spin around for about 20 seconds until it's ready to go.
All right.
There we go. Right
Boom,
when it
just
starts
that
to
easy?
slow down, it's that easy.
Wow.
Get a little dough, or a little flour.
A little flour down.
Yeah, a little
Keep
flour
it from
down.
not sticking.
Yep.
Nice.
Take this out. Sounds like
So you're gonna
something-
make 2 different kinds of cuts, right?
Yes. Now see here, it's just a little bit sticky, a little bit tacky, but this flour that's down, and that's what's awesome about this is you can knead it with one hand, whereas the other kind of pasta I was talking about, you're gonna take a lot longer to knead it. So this you can, it's really nice and supple, you see that?
Yeah, yeah, and this is gonna impress your guests. You're not using that dry
Yeah.
store-bought stuff, right?
Yeah, which the difference actually between the other pastas, the dried pasta doesn't have eggs in it. It just has a much longer shelf life, which makes it more attractive for those kind of reasons.
And you can taste the difference night and day.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be so much softer. And when you eat this stuff, you're like, I could just keep eating that stuff because it's really light and not too stodgy. So all you do is once this is already ready to go.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. That was quick. And
Yeah.
that's mostly because of the food processor helps that, right?
Yes,
All
and
right.
it's when it's that nice and
So now
soft.
what are you doing with this process by wrapping it?
It just lets it sit, and covering it helps it not to dry.
Okay.
But it'll help the dough relax when you let it sit at room temperature. You don't want to put it in the fridge.
Okay. All right, so we got our pasta roller out. It's made in Italy. Anthony, this thing's pretty sweet, huh?
It's pretty sweet.
So you could actually roll it out with a rolling pin as thin as you want and slice it however you want,
Definitely.
right? But this is kind of the easier way to do it.
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
It's much faster, and that's why I was showing with the food processor as well. I'm trying to make something that's accessible for everybody, that everybody can do.
Nice.
And I'm glad to have DICED here in my own house, in my kitchen, because if you're a friend of mine, I've probably talked to you about cooking before, and so I can't have you here, but I get to show you how it's done, so I'm really excited. I can get right into this.
Dude, get right into it.
Cool.
I love that you have the passion for cooking. It's so
Oh, man.
important.
Yeah.
I'll help your little messes here and clean up.
Thanks, Ben. So this first quarter, I flattened it down pretty good little bit. This is going through the first setting on 1.
Okay.
And one of the things you want to do on this first
Keep
one,
adding flour,
this isn't
right?
too bad.
2?
No.
No. Okay.
Watch what happens. I
Interesting.
want to fold this into a nice little square to keep it kind of square-like.
So what happens if you do overflour it?
If you overflour it, it just becomes hard to work with.
Does it dry out?
It does dry
Yeah.
out, which I'm going to move fast so these don't dry out.
Totally.
So one of the tricks about these rollers is 2 on each setting. That's kind of where you want to go.
Okay.
So we just went 2 on 1.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2 on 2.
And it's just getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. How thin do you know? I mean, when do you know?
One way to tell is your hand through it. That's the classic way to tell. We can't see the color of my hand at all
nice.
yet.
I like that.
So certain styles, you'll want it a little thinner. We're gonna make this a little easier to deal with. We're also going to do something important is on one of your last rolls, hit it with a little more flour because when it goes through this machine, it'll help it cut. And you won't have like uncut pieces. So one more time on 4. And since I'm doing spaghetti for you, this is as easy as it goes, and this is
Oh, look at that.
first batch
Beautiful.
of spaghetti.
if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Boom.